Imagine waking up on a bright Tuesday with sunlight slipping through the curtains and nothing on the agenda except what you feel like doing. There's no alarm ringing, no commute waiting, and no knot of worry about money tightening in your chest. You stretch, linger beneath the covers for a moment, and remember with a smile that the bills are paid, the future is funded, and time finally belongs to you. That sensation, total ownership of your days, is the promise Grant Sabatier lays out in Financial Freedom. More than a list of tactics, his book is a manifesto that turns conventional career logic on its head and insists that a life of choice, creativity, and ease can be earned in a single decade, even if you start with almost nothing. Sabatier's own story begins in 2010, when he was 24, unemployed, and back in his parents' house after a layoff. An online banking screen displaying $2.26 became a moment of brutal honesty. He had followed the standard script: earn a degree, get an entry-level job, show up on time, wait patiently for promotions. The script had delivered him to near zero. That night, he promised himself two things. First, he would master every practical detail about money: how to earn it quickly, how to keep it reliably, and how to make it grow automatically until he never had to worry about it again. Second, he would buy back his freedom as fast as humanly possible. He started by devouring everything he could find: library books on investing, podcasts about early retirement, Reddit threads on frugal hacks, interviews with entrepreneurs who built side incomes from scratch. During daylight hours, he chased freelance work building small business websites, optimizing Google ads, and managing social media campaigns. Evenings and weekends became laboratories for fresh hustles: flipping domain names, photographing restaurant menus, renting out and used camera lenses. Any legal way to convert spare hours into cash. Within a year, he was earning six figures from half a dozen streams. The money moved the scoreboard, but the bigger reward was proof that a paycheck need not come from a single employer. The second half of his formula was an unapologetically high savings rate. Instead of the traditional advice to sock away 10 or 15% of income, he challenged himself to save 50, 60, sometimes 80%. That meant living in a modest apartment, cooking in bulk, and questioning every potential purchase through a single lens. How many hours of my life will this cost? A concert ticket might equal 3 hours at the keyboard, a new phone perhaps 3 entire days. Framed that way, impulse buys lost most of their appeal. What looked like sacrifice to outsiders felt to Sabatier like trading small luxuries for chunks of permanent freedom. Central to his plan was the freedom number, a target anyone can calculate. Tally a full year of living expenses, multiply by 25, and you have the portfolio size that can fund that lifestyle indefinitely under the historically reliable 4% withdrawal guideline. If you can thrive on $40,000 a year, $1 million invested in low-cost index funds sets you free. Lower expenses mean a smaller target. Higher income means reaching the number sooner. The math is disarmingly simple, yet its implications are profound. Every dollar saved is not a dollar on a shelf, but $25 of future autonomy when invested. Income, savings, and investments formed the engine, but automation supplied the fuel line. Sabatier set up his bank to whisk money into separate buckets the second it landed: taxes, retirement accounts, a buffer for bills, and the bulk into index funds tracking entire markets. Because transfers happened automatically, willpower never had a chance to falter. The machine just ran, compounding quietly even while he slept. He learned early that trying to beat the market was a distraction. Study after study shows most professional stock pickers underperform broad indexes once fees are deducted. So he focused on what he could control: minimizing costs, staying fully invested, and buying more shares every month regardless of headlines. Compounding did the heavy lifting. $1,000 grows to almost $2,000 in 10 years at 7%, nearly $4,000 in 20, and $8,000 in 30, all without him lifting another finger. The book also explores the power of geography. If you can earn in a strong currency while spending in a weaker one, or simply move from a high-cost city to a reasonable one, your savings rate can skyrocket without lowering quality of life. Sabatier profiles friends who left San Francisco for Austin, Londoners who moved to Leeds, and a couple who spent 2 years in Chiang Mai banking 85% of their remote tech salaries. Location independence turned from a perk into a strategy. Taxes, usually treated as tedious, become another lever. Max every employer match in a 401k. Funnel money into Roth IRAs for tax-free growth. Exploit health savings accounts for triple tax advantages. And learn capital gains rules so Uncle Sam claims as little of your compounding as legally possible. A weekend of reading the tax code, he argues, can shave entire years off the journey. Yet numbers alone do not capture why some sprint toward independence while others stall. The real battleground is psychological. Advertisers feed status anxiety. Social media flaunts curated lifestyles, and cultural scripts insist success equals granite countertops and German sedans. Sabatier invites readers to undertake a radical exercise. Design your perfect normal day. Most lists end up filled with low-cost pleasures: cooking, reading, hiking, lingering with family over breakfast, and remarkably few luxury items. When you realize the life you crave costs less than the one society sells you, aggressive saving feels like liberation rather than loss. He tells of a woman who hit her freedom number at 33 only to spiral briefly into identity crisis because work had defined her. The lesson is clear: cultivate purpose before quitting. Financial independence removes the mandate to earn, but life still demands meaning. Many new retirees volunteer, launch passion projects, or even stay in their careers part-time, negotiating fearlessly because walking away is always an option. Risk management gets practical attention as well. A fully funded emergency stash lets you ride out layoffs or car repairs without selling investments at a discount. Term life insurance protects dependents. Health insurance shields net worth from medical catastrophe, and an appropriate deductible balances premiums against peace of mind. Anything beyond that is usually profit for insurers at the cost of your timeline. Community underpins motivation. Local Meet UPS, online fire forums, and weekend retreats create a culture where brown bag lunches and secondhand clothes are celebrated as badges of progress rather than deprivation. Sharing milestones. First 10,000 invested, debt-free dates, portfolio hitting 6 figures, turns lonely spreadsheets into group victories. Children raised in such households learn early that experiences trump possessions and that work is something to enjoy, not escape. Sabatier also addresses systemic headwinds: wage gaps, rising tuition, volatile healthcare costs. Financial freedom cannot solve inequality, but personal solvency is still a powerful shield. With savings, you can leave toxic jobs, move for better opportunities, or take time off to care for family without tipping into crisis. And once you're free, you have bandwidth to mentor, donate, or advocate for structural change. The narrative springs to life in vivid moments. The night his investments first crested 1 million, he booked a one-way ticket to Portugal with a laptop and a surfboard, spent mornings catching Atlantic waves, afternoons freelancing 2 hours for fun money, and evenings tasting pastel de nata in seaside cafes. Emails lost urgency. Tied schedules mattered more. Later, at his parents' kitchen table, he treated them to their favorite takeout and promised they never had to worry about his future again. Tears of relief said more than numbers ever could. The most resonant scene arrives on a starlit beach with friends gathered around a fire, guitars strumming, jokes flowing, and nobody glancing at phones for work alerts. Freedom felt like warm sand and salted air, not extravagance but presence. The essence of wealth is time surrendered back to living. If these stories feel inspiring yet distant, he offers a gentle starting line. Track every expense for 60 days. Patterns will shock you awake. Automate a transfer of even $10 a week to an index fund. Watch ownership grow. Brainstorm 5 ways to earn an extra $50 by Friday. Tutor, dog sit, sell and use gadgets, and funnel every cent into investments. Small steps compound just as faithfully as large ones. Before closing, it helps to visualize how compounding can outpace even the best salary. Imagine you scrape together an initial $2,000 and manage to add $800 every single month. At a 7% annual return, that pot cracks $100,000 in just 8 years, crosses a quarter million in 15, and tops $500,000 before 2 decades pass. Now picture what happens if a side hustle lifts the monthly contribution to $1,500. $500,000 arrives in a little over 12 years, and $1 million appears well before the 20-year mark. These illustrations aren't wishful thinking. They're arithmetic, indifferent to mood or opinion. The secret weapon is time. Every year you begin investing early folds another layer of growth onto the stack. That is why Sabatier urges action even if the first steps feel embarrassingly small. The market does not grade on ego. $10 invested is treated with the same compound respect as 10,000. It simply grows into a proportionate oak given enough seasons. One final image lingers. Sabatier describes standing on a rooftop at sunset, looking over city lights twinkling on, realizing he would never again trade a chunk of his life for money he didn't truly need. The skyline, once a symbol of office towers and 9-to-5 captivity, now looked like a playground of possibilities. Places to volunteer, cafes to write in, neighborhoods to explore at noon on a Monday. Financial freedom had not shrunk his world. It had expanded it beyond the borders of job descriptions and pay cycles. Begin wherever you stand, reduce one needless expense, add one fresh income stream, automate one simple investment, and watch the gears mesh. Each modest win buys another hour, another afternoon, another chapter of your story written on your schedule. Soon the sum of those liberated hours becomes a life. Thank you for spending these minutes exploring the ideas behind financial freedom with me. If the vision of reclaiming your time sparked even a flicker of excitement, start tonight. Sketch your perfect day, tally last month's spending, open that investment account. Freedom is closer than it looks, and every action you take pulls it nearer. I appreciate you watching. Until next time, keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep moving toward a life that truly belongs to you. Thanks for watching. Please don't follow me if you want to stay broken and middle class.